Honestly, I have no idea what I'm doing today, but I wanted to sit down and film something using a few new things that I've purchased. So yeah, if you want to see what I end up doing, please keep on watching. I've already primed my face, per usual, the Nip and Fab Sheer Makeup Fix all over, and then the Maybelline Baby Skin just in my areas where I have problems with pores. Then for foundation today, I'm going to be using the Almay Smart Shade Mousse Makeup. And I've always wanted to try the Almay Smart Shade stuff, but I was kind of like, can it really be a shade matching kind of makeup? Like, can that really happen? Because they only have like 3 shades, and it looks like this. This is like stark white, and so I'm just going to dot it. And as you can see, it goes on white, like, it's weird. So then you start to blend it in and buff it in. And as you can see, it kind of starts to change color as you blend it in and buff it in. I feel like it makes me look a little bit pale though. So this just makes me look kind of pale, so I do have to warm it up a little bit with bronzer. But the color match is almost perfect to my face, and I don't really have to bring this down my neck because it does shade match my face. As you can see, that shade is pretty much almost perfect because, again, it does shade match. It really does shade match. I would say this is a light to medium coverage foundation, so if you are wanting a full coverage foundation, this is probably not going to be the one for you. So far, my only complaint with this is that it has a very strong, like, baby powder smell, but a florally baby powder smell, and that kind of stays with you all day. Like, once it sets, you can still smell that, and that's really the only issue I have with it right now. Since I need to repurchase my Rimmel Wake Me Up concealer, this thing is pretty much empty, and I can hardly get any product out of it at this point. So I need to repurchase that because it's one of my favorite concealers. I did purchase this one, though, to replace it for the time being, and this is the L'Oreal True Match Concealer in the shade Fair Light. But this is the warm toned one, and I just do this number with it and highlight the center of my face. This is a little bit thicker than the Rimmel one as well, but not by much. As you can see, for the most part, I have finished my skin, and to do so, I used MAC Studio Finish Concealer in the shade NW20 to cover any blemishes on my skin. And then for highlighting and concealing my under eyes is the MAC Pro Longwear in the shade NC15. Then to set my under eyes, I used my Laura Mercier Secret Brightening Powder as usual, and I applied that with my Real Techniques setting brush. And I don't know if I said to blend out the concealers, I used my Beauty Blender. And then to set the rest of my face, I used the Coty Airspun Loose Powder with my big powder brush. Then I did also go ahead and contour, and I have gone back to using my Hoola bronzer daily. I know I was using my NYC one for a while, but I am back to using this one. Then for blush today, I'm going to use Benefit's Rockateur. I use this blush every day regardless, because I think it just is a gorgeous color to mix with any other blush. There are days that I just use this on its own, but 9 times out of 10 I use this every day, and I just blend it from cheekbone all the way back to my temples just to make sure that it just adds color to the rest of my face. Then, because the Benefit Rockateur is so natural looking and I want a little bit more of a punch of color to my cheeks, this is a beautiful look on its own. I just want a little more color. I'm going to use this City Color blush that I got in my Ipsy bag. This is in the shade Fresh Melon. And it is a matte blush, and it seems to be very pigmented. We will see. I'm just going to apply that to the apples of my cheeks mainly. I am going to blend it back just to make sure it blends. So as you can see, that just adds a little bit more of a kind of corally flush to the cheeks, and I think this is a really good color. Then because the Almay foundation that I used is a mousse foundation and it also sets quite matte, I'm going to go in with my Revlon highlight palette. I'm just going to start calling this a shimmer brick because that's what I want to call it. But this is by Revlon, and it's in Rose Glow, and I'm just going to stick to these two lightest colors on the top here. I'm just going to apply that to the apples of my cheeks just to add a little bit of a glow back into the skin. Then today, instead of using my Mary Luminizer, which I have just been using the crap out of, I'm going to use my MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish in Double Definition. This is my favorite, but it's limited edition, and I'm kind of like, I don't want to run out of it. And I'm just going to apply that anywhere the sun would naturally hit. So I did my brows off camera because I did post a video of how I fill in my brows. I did it a little bit different today, but generally it's still the same. I use my Real Techniques brow brush, which is kind of just a thick angled brush, to apply the Urban Decay Brow Box Powder. This is the shade Brown Sugar. I generally stick to the lighter shade, but I did run the darkest shade through the back of my brows, and then I set all of that with the Benefit Gimme Brow in the light medium shade. Since I'm not really sure what I want to do with my eyes, I am going to start with using the primer that comes in the Mally City Chic I Love Color palette. This is what the primer looks like here. It is just basically a cream shadow because it does have color to it, and I'm using this because it cancels out any color that may be showing on the lid. So it just mutes all of that color out and gets rid of it. So what to do next is the question. I'm not really sure. I don't know what I want to do. So I'm going to start by diving into my Naked 2 palette and taking the shade Booty Call just on my ring finger, and I'm going to apply that all over my lid. This is pretty much the same color as the primer we just applied. It's just shimmery. Then I'm going to take this color here, which is Cork, and I'm just going to run that through my crease. Then on the same fluffy brush, I'm going to take this color right below it, which is Rule from MAC, and it's a matte kind of burnt orange. I'm going to apply that in my crease, but mainly staying in my crease here, just to kind of warm that up a little bit. Then I decided to kind of mirror the two steps that I did in the crease on the lower lash line. Then on my Real Techniques shader brush, I'm going to pick up this Jessie's Girls pigment in the shade Brown Sugar, and this is a very warm-toned matte brown. And then I'm just going to really just concentrate this in my crease right now. So just keeping it in the crease and moving it around in back and forth motions. Just like that. And then I'm going to take the same fluffy brush I've been using before, pick up a tiny, tiny bit of that pigment and just blend it to where it is blended in with everything else that we've got on the lid. Then because I've decided I want a super bright, shiny inner corner highlight, I'm going to use this shade Moon out of the BH Cosmetics Galaxy Chic palette, and I'm going to use a stiff flat brush to apply that. And if you don't want to use a white, you can use something that is more gold toned. I know this whole look is very warm, and I'm using a blue toned white as my inner corner highlight, which is a very cool tone color. You can use something more gold if you want to. I just really love the way that this color catches the light. Then for my brow bone highlight, I'm going back into my MAC Extra Dimension Skin Finish and just picking up the lightest shade and just blending that on the brow bone. Then because I want a tiny bit more depth in my crease, I'm going to go in with this chocolate brown color on the same shader brush we used to apply the brown sugar. And I'm going to apply it in the same way, just keeping that on the outer half of the crease though. And then just kind of blending it inwards a little bit. Two-winged liner or not two-winged liner? That is the question. So I did go ahead and apply a winged liner. I didn't film it because for some reason lately I've had to be this close to a mirror, so I wouldn't have been on film or my mirror would have been in the way. It just wasn't working out to film it. So, and I did keep it very basic, very small wing, but now that I have it on, I feel like I need to darken up my crease a little bit. So I am going to use my Real Techniques Duo Fiber Brush and then Carbon from MAC. It is just a basic matte black shade. And I'm just going to pick this up very lightly on the white fibers of this brush and just blend it mainly on the outer corner, kind of blending it in, just to deepen this up and make it a little bit darker. Then I've decided I want a pop of color on the eyes because everything is very warm toned and I would like some color going on. So what I'm going to do is take this CoverGirl Liquid Line Blast in the shade Green Glow, I believe it's called. It is just kind of a lime green shade. And I'm going to apply this to the waterline. But I want it to be a little bit more intense. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into my Kat Von D palette and take this shade here, which is called Birdcage. It is pretty much the exact same color as the liner. And I'm just going to take that on a stiff flat brush. This one is from Urban Decay. And I'm just going to use it to set that liner and make it a little bit more opaque. So I did go ahead and apply mascara, and for that I used the Jordana Best Volume Extreme because this is my favorite mascara to use with false lashes. And I'm going to be applying, that's not even a word, applying the Ardell Glamour Wispies. These are just super long and super wispy. So I'm going to apply these and I will be right back. So as you can see, I applied my false lashes and I did go in and darken my crease work up a little bit more because I felt like the makeup was just kind of getting lost behind the lashes because you really couldn't see the color through the lashes when I have my eyes all the way open. To start off my lips, I'm going to use this e.l.f. Lip Lock pencil. This is kind of a really waxy pencil that stops your lipstick from feathering or straying from where you put it, so it's like a lip primer. I applied that all over my lips, and now I'm going to apply L'Oreal's Color Riche lipstick in the shade Violet Chiffon. You could do whatever lip you want. I feel like this is a fairly neutral enough makeup that you could wear whatever lipstick you wanted to. So then, over top of that, I'm going to apply this L'Oreal lip gloss in the shade Stubborn Plum. I don't know if you can really read that with the glare. But this is a more of a lilac-y shade. And with that, this completes the look. I thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.